Hi, welcome to our I Read, You Read and our math video for the day. We don't have any Google Meets today, so that means that if you need help on your work, or if you're at daycare, or maybe you're at home and need help, that's what I'm here for. That's what this video is made for. So today is Friday. It's Friday, October 23rd, 2020. So make sure you have your paper ready. It's called My Tent. Make sure you have this ready. And then we'll also go over the math on the back too. Okay? Are you ready? All right. Let's go over your sight words. Ready? My, I, in, is. Good. One more time. Ready? My, I, in, is. Good job. And we'll do those again in just a little bit. So today, our story is all about camping, and the person in our story is going to use a tent, and they're very excited about their tent. So on this page or on this screen, I just have some pictures of different kinds of tents. So in case you've never really seen one before. So again, this is like what it's like when you go camping. So you're outside in the wilderness, or sometimes in your backyard. All right. So I want you to think about this question. Have you ever been camping? And what was your favorite part? I know for me, I've been camping a couple of times. I think my favorite part was just being outside with my family was really fun. The tent was fun too, but we also roasted marshmallows and that was fun. All right, so now we're at the part of your paper where I'm going to read this story to you. I want you to picture this story in your head so you kind of make like a little movie, and it helps you when we answer our questions later, okay? All right. My parents took me camping this weekend. Camping is a lot of fun. I got to bring my own tent to sleep in all night long. As soon as we got to our campsite, I knew it was going to be a great night. My parents helped me quickly set up my tent. I couldn't wait to go right inside my tent. Once my tent was set up, I laid down my sleeping bag to make sure it fit. The tent is just right, the right size for me. No one else really fits in it besides me. That's why it's perfect for me. I knew the weekend was going to be fun, but I was most excited to sleep in my tent. Vocabulary. So remember, vocabulary just means words that we might not know the meaning to. So not simple words like I and you and me, but words like camping and tent. So words that we might not know what they mean yet. Our first word is tent. So tent, this is what our character, she loved the camping part, but most of all, she loved her tent. So a tent is just something you sleep in that gives you like a little roof and a little covering if you're sleeping outside, or maybe even if you have a tent for inside, like making a fort out of blankets or something in your living room might be a way to make a tent for fun. But it's just when you have something over your head as shelter, and that protects you from the outside elements like rain or wind or snow, so it keeps you nice and warm. Our next word is campsite. So a campsite is just where people go to camp. It's a place that they go to set up their tents and set up their fire, to keep them warm and to cook their food on. So it's a place outside, where you set up your tents, and it's a place where you're going to stay for the night or the weekend or however long you go camping. Our next word is sleeping bag. So a sleeping bag is just a bag you sleep in. So like the little girl in our story, she put her sleeping bag inside of her tent. So it just makes sure that you feel nice and snugly like you're in your own bed, and it keeps you nice and warm when you're outside if it's cold. All right, let's go over these sight words again. Ready? My, I, in, is. One more time. Ready? My, I, in, is. Wonderful. We can definitely sound out the word in. I know that you guys could sound that out without me. All right, so now it's your turn to read. Okay, so before we get started, let's go through and pick out some words that are our sight words. Ready? I, my, is, I, in, my, I, in, my is, and that's it. Yeah. All right. So you have a lot of your words in this story. So we should be able to read this one a lot quicker than normal because we know a lot of these words. We've had some of these sight words already. So I'll read the first one and then I want you to repeat after me. Ready? I set up my tent. Let's read that one more time. I set up my tent. Ready? Good. My tent is big. Ready? Again. My tent is big. Next one. I can go in my tent. Good. Again. I can go in my tent. Good job. All right, next one. I sit in my tent. Ready? Again. I sit in my tent. Good. My tent is the best. Again, ready? My tent is the best. And I know she's really excited and saying her tent is the best because we have something called an exclamation point right here. And that means somebody's excited or really just excited. And when we see it in kindergarten, when we see that exclamation point, somebody is normally really excited. Now, sometimes in some stories, they might be really mad, but it means that they're feeling, there's a lot of feeling in it. Like, my tent is the best. So she's really excited in this story. Let's go back to the top, and I want you to try your best to read it with me. I'm going to read it nice and slow. I set up my tent. My tent is big. I can go in my tent. I sit in my tent. My tent is the best. Good job. Wonderful. All right. Let's find those sight words. All right. In your first sentence, you have two sight words, the word I and the word my. All right. Go ahead and circle those words. All right. In your next sentence, you have the word my and the word is. Who do you hear at the end of the word is? Yeah, it's not Sammy Snake, it's Sleepy Sammy. Good job. Go ahead and circle those two words. Okay. Next one, you have the three sight words. I, in, my. Go ahead and circle those three words for me. All right, you have three more sight words on the next line too. I, in, my. Let's go ahead and circle those three words. Good job. All right. And then your last sentence, you have two words on this one, my and is. Go ahead and circle those two sight words. Okay. If you need more time, remember, the good thing about videos that I record, or any video that is recorded, or that means that I'm not sitting in my kitchen right now as you're watching it, because I did it earlier today. And so that means you can make me go backwards and you can watch stuff again. All right, so it says, what did the girl set up? So what did she set up? So we can go back to our story. And our first sentence says, I set up my tent. So what did she set up? Her tent. Good job. So on your paper, let's start with the word her. Let's sound it out. Ready? Harry Hatman. Yeah, go ahead and write Harry Hatman. And then we have Eddie Elephant. And Red Robot. We don't hear Eddie Elephant, and that's just because we haven't learned about when Red Robot steals the vowels. We haven't learned about that yet. So just know it's Harry Hatman, Eddie Elephant, and Red Robot. Okay? Remember, don't forget your finger space in between the two words because those are two different words. So make sure that you have a finger space in the middle. Our next word is tent. Tent. Ready? T, 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 t. Talking test. Good. Eh, eh, eh. Eddie Elephant. Mm, mm. Noisy Nick. And our last letter in this word is t, t, t. Talking test, or our last sound is talking test. Good job. Her tent. I'll leave it there for a few more seconds in case you needed it again. Her tent is what that says. Her tent. All right. And the last part of our page where you have that little box where you get to draw, it says, what did the girl do in her tent? Well, if we go back to the story, it says, I sit in my tent. So I wrote the word sit. So then I didn't draw. I found a drawing of a little girl that's sitting. So I wrote the word sit. It. All right, let's write that word first. If you have crayons in your hand, let's put the crayons down first. And let's just somewhere in your box, wrong way. Somewhere in your box, I just want you to write the word sit. Ready? S. Sammy Snake. Good job. I, I, I. Impy Ink. Good. T, t, t. Talking test. So that word says sit, like you are right now, or like I am. I had to sit down. Okay? All right. And so the last thing you'll do for that page is you will just draw a picture of a little girl sitting down. Okay? All right. So now if you need more time on that, hit that pause button because I'm going to go ahead and go over your math. Okay? So again, if you need more time, hit pause. Okay? Now, let's go over your math for the day. Okay? All right. So make sure you have your pencil ready. This won't take long. I'm going to use a pen so y'all can see what I'm doing. Today is all about counting. It's all about counting. So let's start with our little Frankenstein. And what I want you to do is, we did this the other day. As we count, we're going to put a little dot on the Frankenstein because sometimes we get confused and we accidentally count something 2 times, and we don't want to do that because then our answer would be wrong. We wouldn't know how many Frankensteins there were. So let's put a little dot. So let's start right here. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are 9. So go ahead and circle the number 9. Good job. Let's move on to our monsters. So this is where it's even more important to make sure that we put a little dot on the one that we're counting, because this is a circle, and sometimes we might forget where we started. And again, we don't want to count it 2 times because then we would be wrong, okay? All right, so I'm going to start in the very top middle. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good job. All right, let's move on to our last one. We have more little Frankenstein monsters, okay? All right, I'm going to start right here in the top corner. Ready? Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, don't get ahead, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one more, 10. So it's that very last number. Wonderful. All right, so the next one says to draw 7 leaves. And if you don't want to draw leaves because that's going to make you worry that they don't look very good, because I know how some of you are, you can draw little ovals and put like a little stem on them. Okay, so let's draw our leaves. Ready? See if you can see what I'm doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now if you want to go back and add your little stems, you can. We drew 7. And you did not have to draw yours in like a straight line or anything. You could definitely have drawn yours in like a little, maybe a circle, or like 4 on top and 3 on bottom. Many ways you could do it. Okay. All right, our next one says to draw 10 candy corn. And candy corn are kind of in the shape of triangles. So let's all draw triangles and count to 10. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can y'all see it out? Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. The last part here at the bottom, it says to draw circle the group that has more. So let's start, this little camera gets me all confused. Let's start with the leaves and the flowers. Now just by looking, we're going to count, but just by looking at it, which one do you think has more? The leaves, but let's count just to make sure. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's count our flowers. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. So which group had more? The leaves. Good job. So just circle that group. All right, and the next one, which one do you think has more? The birdhouses or the birds? We think the birds, but let's count just to make sure. Ready? I can't see. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 birds. And there's 1, 2, 3 birdhouses. So what's the bigger number? 4 or 3? 4. So let's circle those birds. Wonderful. All right, and that's all you have for today. All right, friends, hope you have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend, and I will see you on Monday.